There's a delicate balance between holding yourself accountable and giving yourself grace. And this is something that I think is really difficult to navigate sometimes, but also something that just makes us human. If you're new here, my name is Jamie. I'm 27. I've been alcohol free for over a year, and I don't have a background of substance abuse or alcoholism. I just knew that alcohol was holding me back from achieving my goals, and so I cut it out of my life and I saw a lot of improvement. So I'm no sobriety expert or expert on non-alcoholic living. I just make these videos to share what worked for me in the hopes that it might work for somebody else like you out there as well. People who are interested in the self-development space generally, I think, lean towards the side of holding yourself accountable. You want to get better. You know that you have more in you. And that's how I felt. I knew I didn't have the physique I wanted. I knew I was not as emotionally regulated as I wanted. I still let myself get distracted with certain things. I would drink on the weekend and feel anxiety the next morning when I woke up. There was a lot of things in my life that I didn't feel super happy about, but I would hold myself accountable, or I was at least trying to hold myself accountable to the fact that they were my doings. I think when talking about holding yourself accountable, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're improving every element of your life at all times, because it's hard to make big strides in all areas, but it's knowing that you are the result of your own actions. But at the same time, there needs to be grace in there too. We're all human and no one is perfect. And so while there was times when maybe I was making more improvements in the gym, I might not have been focused as much on the mental side or the emotional side. And so I'd have to give myself grace to deal with things that came up. And then there was other periods of time where I would be focusing more on the mental or emotional side of things, and I would miss a workout, or I wouldn't hold myself accountable to the diet that I was supposed to be eating. And I had to give myself grace for that stuff too. Especially in the culture that can appear nowadays of the hustle and the grind, it can become very easy to over-index on the accountability side without leaving room for giving yourself grace. And obviously you don't want to leave too much room for giving yourself grace, because then you just start to become somebody who gives yourself excuses all the time and you don't actually hold yourself accountable. But I think instead of choosing one or the other, we have to find somewhere in the middle, right? Somewhere where you hold yourself accountable for being the way you are, but you also give yourself grace when mistakes happen and when mishaps happen. So my question to you is, where do you fall on this spectrum, right? Are you somebody who is all about accountability and trying to make improvements to your life, but you don't give yourself the grace when mistakes happen, and they always happen? Or are you somebody who gives yourself a little too much grace sometimes and not holding yourself accountable enough to achieve your goals? Then you might be asking, why are we talking about holding yourself accountable and giving yourself grace on an alcohol-free channel? And I think it's because this dichotomy is a perfect representation of the journey of being alcohol-free. I think it takes a lot of accountability to realize that alcohol is playing whatever role it's playing in your life. For me, that was, holding me back from achieving my fitness and emotional and mental goals, and it was really making it hard for me to connect with who I was, and it was giving me this alternative personality that I could play in on the weekend, but that wasn't authentic to me. And I think once I realized that and I took accountability for that, I could make the action to cut out alcohol, which then led to amazing changes I've seen since. And then I would have to give myself grace for navigating different situations that were new to me, or giving myself grace for letting certain relationships fade that weren't serving me anymore. I think it's easy to really be upset with ourselves and hold ourselves accountable to try to make every relationship be the same as it was when we were drinking, or make sure that you still bring a certain level of confidence to situations that you used to have when you were drinking. So this is just a reminder to you that holding yourself accountable and giving yourself grace are both important things, that it's not one or the other, but we have to find where we sit on the spectrum and make sure that we include both in our lives. That's what's worked for me so far in terms of finding the right moments to use each, and hopefully that'll work for you too. If you enjoyed this video, you thought it was helpful, insightful, motivational, or none of the above, but you want to keep seeing my videos pop up, then please subscribe to my channel for more alcohol-free and self-improvement content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.